Okay, folks, you know Prieto, and he's going to be heading for a western bridle. I'm thinking of Santa Barbara, and I've been hanging him in a heavy bit so he can start to bridle up, and we're working on this. Everything's kind of coming along, and I've been riding him outside a lot, and where I'm at now is that he understands how to walk backwards off of my seat. And so what it tells me is that he's got a really good idea how to do it. So now I'm going to move on, and I need him to turn on the haunches without feeling he has to push through the bridle. That's what this is about. So I'll show you where I'm at on the backup. I ask him to walk backwards, and I keep giving him the rein, but I want him to stay in some level of collection. So right there. There. And please remember that when I put the actual bit, the western bit in this horse's mouth, it's going to change all the dynamics, and it's going to help this whole thing all come together. I'm just doing the foundation. So now, when I ask for the forehand, I need him to not push on my hands. So that's what I'm up against now. My left shoulder rises and opens, and I take the horse with my shoulder. So what that means is you can feel through your skeleton that your right leg is going to head towards the horse. Your left leg is going to head away from the horse. Your right seat bone is going to drop down, and your hands are going to give direction, which would be the left hand, and shifting the weight, which is the right hand. So if that sounds confusing, guess what? That's what we call raising the bar. So that time has come. It's easier to teach a horse this while they're walking, but I'll just get him moving, and I'll pick that foot up and take it off with me, and I'll ask him to step across. Now I'm trying to pay attention to my hands and feel him get lighter. Right shoulder, stepping, good. I'll step a little farther, set it up, left shoulder, asking. I want him to step across. Right shoulder, left seat bone, left leg on, right leg off. Stepping across. He's still helpful heavy, so I'm going to back him up again, go to that thing he knows how to do. Whenever he starts to list, I just put my leg back. There's old habits. There's his skull. Now I'll start again. I try to time it so that the left front foot is coming off the ground when I ask. That helps him be more accurate. Now my right shoulder is going to open. My left hand is pulling slightly so I can shift the weight to the hindquarter. If you notice when I turn left, I've opened one hand. That's why the snaffle. There's no doubt in his mind what direction is. The right rein simply shifts the weight back. It's like picking up an apple. That's how hard you're pulling. This is why I don't believe in running back and forth on a fence. It's not the way to get to a horse's brain. Speaking of which, I wanted to tell you that Larry went home. The owner of that horse told me when I took him, he said, if it doesn't work out, just send him home. Well, the owner is a man that's on medication that I guess if he gets cut, he'll bleed out. So he didn't want to take any chances of anything falling apart. Well, we all know horses, but the fact is, I knew that that horse wasn't buying anything I was offering, and it wanted to fight. And fighting is not something I'm going to do with a horse that's going to go to a man that needs a really, really gentle horse. And I learned a long time ago, just never get in a pissing contest with a skunk. So he went home. The man's glad he came home. And everything's good there. And then a couple days later, I got a message from the lady of the house who explained to me, she's the one that did the Clinton Anderson stuff. She explained to me that she's going to take over the training. So there you go. I'm done talking about that. All right, backing up. There's my brake. Waking him up. Now the word lethargic comes into mind when you start schooling horses. After about a month they start saying, they get kind of dull. So it's nothing wrong with picking them up with your spurs and waking them up. Now we're going to leave, and I'm going to open my shoulder and see if he starts to lean as I open. Timing, and there. It's getting lighter on my hands. So now you can see where the nose is. So I'm not done, but I'm on my way. I'm accurate with his feet. There. So now he understands what it is I want. He's a very smart horse. So what I'm going to do is offer less and start to cross over to what's known as the feel. You set up your skeleton and your horse says, got it. Well, the way to test that is to just simply ride one-handed. So I'm going to pick up on him. Now I put my spur on, and he's falling forward. I can feel him falling forward into my hand. So I needed to assist him with, watch my right hand. Boom. I pulled him back with my right hand. So he's not ready for one-handed yet. That's what all that means. So now I'm going to walk backwards, which he knows how to do. Then I'm going to ask him to walk over to the left. Walk backwards and step to the right. I'm offering it right now. There, thank you. Stop. Sit down. Ask for the backup. Right front, now. Right now, thank you. Backing. And left front. Walking forward. And asking the horse to make a turn on the haunches while walking forward. He can do this. A horse, this comes into the ranch work deal. And just for the sake of knowing, I don't like to compare, but just so that it's clear when I use the word ranch work, in the cutting world, which is a sport, a $1 billion deal, everything is done on a straight line. And that's how they train the horses. They cut for X amount of time and then they get scored. In the ranch world, we have to be able to put a cow somewhere. So this is why, what I've learned over the years, especially if I'm in a corral full of 100 head of cattle and I'm cutting certain ones out, I got to be able to move forward plus move the front end over. That's what this exercise is for. So now I've got my critter picked out, and I start to bring it, and it turns, so I just keep going and I turn with it. I want my horse to keep walking. All right, now I didn't have to open my hand as much. I think what happens in reality is the exercise of walking forward is perpetual motion, which is what horses enjoy. They're designed to go forward. Okay, and then, oh, by the way, I need you to move your front end over. He's saying, okay. Okay. I've got about half the weight on my hands that I had a week ago. So I'm gaining. And the lesson of the day is that this has to be built up over a long period of time, and the gymnastics started a month ago. So he will bridle up really nice when this is over. When's it over? When it's over. So what you're seeing here is a horse standing in the position he thinks he should. Now this is a horse starting to understand, to enjoy that bit, hang it like a pendulum, and oh, by the way, go ahead and get in collection. I'll lift and I'll lower. There. That's where he needs to be. Thank you.